What is up with it? Today we are going to be watching some of Cross AI's stream. Go check out Cross on Twitch. National champion, absolute GOAT. I don't need to convince you guys to, go watch his shit, but he's cooking Perona. I know he thinks Shanks is BDIF, so it's going to be a tough one for him to beat, but I don't know. Maybe he can slay some demons. I know he just built this list, I think literally the day he streamed this, so we'll see. I have to imagine Perona it's such an insane leader skill, but being 4 life is always going to be tough, as well as losing Moria and Ice Age. 2 cards that were really instrumental to the deck. I will say it's nice when our opponent gives us some free value here. Just putting this 3 cost on board. They're probably not too familiar with our strategy. It looks like our plan is to rest this and expect them to let it die. If they don't, it's fine. We can reuma it. Oh, it looks like they're not going to let it die. Interesting. Oh, so we're not even going to reuma it. We're going to swing 3. Yeah, this makes sense. Our opponent doesn't have a board, so there's really no cost, and we can swing our Uta pretty freely. The one concern with putting the Uta sideways would be if they play a rush character here, but wow, we are going really wide with these 1-drops. Okay, you love to see it. Okay, we have 5 Dawn left, and it's just going to be a Yasop. A lot of Shanks lists have gone back to Yasop. At the very beginning of the format, it looked like they were tailored a little bit more to like the 5-drop Luffy, but they've started to pivot back to that Yasop. We can go ahead and play a Momonosuke. And Cross is definitely in a good spot here. I mean, he's got a Sabo for a little defense if he ever needs it. He's got plenty of Momonosuke's. He's got the Uta. He's got a Ryuma for removal. He eventually has the Stussy, which having all of these Otamas on board is really going to help us play this Stussy when we need it. We're going to go ahead and get our Ryuma Beckman. We can go ahead and play a second Uta. We can go ahead and rest this. We can swing 7 at life and then Ryuma it. Wow. Really making Perona look pretty good here, honestly. I mean, that's just the Nats champ diff, Does anyone else in the world think Perona is playable? Might be literally just Cross, but Nats champ diff. Gonna go ahead and swing 8. I imagine we'll take this, and we will probably lose one of our Utas, which I think is fine. No need to use the electrical Luna. We don't have a Ryuma or anything with it anyways. If we did, honestly, maybe there would be an argument to... probably still you wouldn't even necessarily need to use it. Because the 1 Uta plus leader effect is going to be able to do -3 anyways. I'm not exactly sure what this 1-drop we drew does, but it looks like we're firing off the Stussy. There is a little bit of an issue where we've kind of run out of gas. All our hand has at this point is like counter. So this is definitely not gonna be exactly what... Oh man, and that 10-drop KO Shanks. I'm not gonna lie, we're looking a little cooked. I mean, we drew a couple pot of greeds. We can potentially remove a 10-drop next turn with this Brook along with our Uta and a Tashigi. I have to imagine we're going to discard at least the electrical Luna. Okay, and we're also going to get rid of one of those. Okay. And another Pot of Greed. Okay, rest up to one of your 6, then KO up to one of your opponent's 5. Okay. Okay. So he will for sure be able to remove a 10 drop next turn. Are we going to Pot of Greed again here, I wonder? I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. We're going to swing 7, going to have it be leader affected and 2K'd, and then we're going to go ahead and swing 8, feel great. And then here we're really hoping a 10 drop Shanks rush doesn't come out. If that comes out in our opponent, okay, we dodged another big drop. We dodged another big drop, which is really imperative for us this turn. Actually a super weak turn from the Shanks player here. We could block 2K here. Yep, seems like that's what we elect to do. Seems very reasonable to me. I would honestly... Oh, I have no idea why we're swinging at the Ryuma there. That seems crazy to me. If anything, I would have swung at the Sabo. I'm not exactly sure why we're swinging at the Ryuma. But, you know. I guess maybe we swung at the Ryuma because the Lucky Roo can't really pop it, but it can pop the Sabo. So I guess that seems reasonable enough upon further reflection. So we can get rid of the Shanks pretty easily just with okay, Pot of Greed, just drawing more. Counter, not exactly what we're looking for. But we're able to come back here, I think. I think we're able to come back. We're able to minus this by another 2. And then we have a couple options. If we want to establish a body, we can Brook. If we are okay with just like maybe resting one of these blockers and then KOing the Shanks, we can use the event. If we're okay with not using that Dawn to establish a body, that does seem a little bit more efficient. Yep, and it looks like that's what we're going to go ahead and do. I imagine we'll want to play out this Momonosuke. So we can go ahead and swing 6 and then 7 and then use Momonosuke effect. We do have a fair bit of counter in our hand, so no real fears of dying, even if they play out something like a dragon. This Momonosuke will probably grab us 2K, I would imagine, and then we can go ahead and swing 7. And we'll see what the Shanks player does. So, you know, Cross in a very good position, about to beat BDIF in his opinion. And his opponent does go ahead and 0 cost. So I don't believe they ever used leader effect there. Okay, we are dropping the Rayleigh. Not a bad card by any stretch of the imagination. In my opinion, the best red card in the entire game. So we will see. Gonna go ahead and swing 7 and we will take. Okay, so we do have an... Oh, we drew the Stussy. Drawing the Stussy here is huge. We can Stussy away the Rayleigh. And then we can Pot of Greed. Or we can Pot of Greed and then Stussy. That seems reasonable as well. But there's also a world where maybe we can try to remove this with Brook instead. I think the Stussy sets us up in a bit better of a position to kill next turn, but we can always start with Pot of Greed and see where that goes. I mean, I see no reason to not start with that on the Otama and Suru, so I feel like that's where I would start. I feel like almost no matter what, we're going to start with that. is giving us a few more options in the radio knife. With the radio knife, we can actually remove this really pretty freely. Oh, there's an ad break. Okay, we're going to pause. All right, and we are back. Okay, so it looks like we are going to go the route of removing this with the Brook rather than the Stussy. Maybe trying to keep the Stussy for next turn, or maybe trying to prioritize the fact that this Momonosuke... Never mind. I'm not 100% sure why we would decided to not play the Stussy. I'm actually not sure. Because if our opponent, like, theoretically we'd want the Stussy in our hand still in case our opponent plays something huge, right? Like a 10-drop Shanks. But if they play a 10-drop Shanks, we go to 0 and we can't Stussy anyways. And playing out the smaller body just gives our opponent more outs to it. And namely the fact that they already have a Lucky Roo on board. So maybe he did it wanting to bait his opponent to think that his opponent could survive one more turn using the Lucky. I'm not exactly sure. I feel like that might have been a bit of a misstep, not playing the Stussy. Maybe afraid of another big 10-drop Shanks, the KO one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and remove the Beckman. We are not in a bad position here. It was actually really rather nice that we top decked this Brook for the double removal. Is there numbers where our opponent could get there? If they swung 8-9, we could potentially die if this life isn't a 2K. That doesn't mean our opponent will go for it. We do have 4 cards in... Oh, we're dead. We are giga dead. I think the first number here should probably always be 8. If it doesn't go through, that's fine. You just swing 5 with the chopper. Okay, this is not the way to do it. This is 100% not the way to do it. But, I mean, it will get there anyways. You always swing 8 first, I think. Damn, that's tough. Damn. He was so close. Honestly, maybe a bit of a misstep with the Stussy. If we had used the Stussy the turn before, it doesn't get removed, and then maybe we could have gone for lethal. I mean, our opponent did take a damage that turn because we swung 7 rather than 5. The 5 they would have been able to get out of, so maybe it ends up the same, honestly. Maybe it ends up the same, but I don't know. Interesting to see. I mean, as I said, according to Cross, Shanks is BDIF. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, he's my GOAT, but I'm not surprised. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.